Ladies and gentlemen, we'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. Today is the January 11th, 2022, 1:30 p.m. meeting of your Laughlin Town Advisory Board. I'll go ahead and commence with some information to read into the record. Items on the agenda may be taken out of order, and the board may combine two or more agenda items for consideration. The board may remove an item from the agenda or delay discussion relating to an item at any time. No action may be taken on any matter not listed on the posted agenda here today. All planning and zoning matters heard at this meeting are forwarded to the Board of County Commissioners Zoning Commission, known as the BCC, or the Clark County Planning Commission, PC, for final action. Please take a moment to turn off or mute all cell phone devices and other electronics, myself included. And if there are any private conversations, please take them outside of the room. Within 48 hours, advance request, a sign language interpreter, or other reasonable efforts to assist and accommodate persons with physical disabilities may be made by calling 702-455-3530, TDD at 702-385-7486, or Relay Nevada toll-free at 800-326-6868. Supporting material provided to the board for this meeting may be requested from our Secretary, Tammy Harris, at 702-298-0828, and supporting material will also be available at the Clark County Department of Administrative Services, 500 South Grand Central Parkway, 6th floor, Las Vegas, Nevada. It is also on Clark County's website at clarkcountynv.gov/Laughlin TAB. Here before you have your council or your board, which is, we have Pamela Walker. Herman Walker is not here with us today. Fred Doughton, Kathleen Haas, your vice chair, and myself, Kathy Oakes. Our secretary is Tammy Harris, and she can be reached at 702-298-0828 or at tammy.harris, HARRIS, at clarkcountynv.gov. Our county liaison is Mark Moskowitz, and he can be reached again at 702-298-0828 or 702-455-6173. His email is mark.moskowitz, MOSKOWITZ, at clarkcountynv.gov. This is our call to order. If I can please have you stand for our invocation offered today by Father Charlie, and for our Pledge of Allegiance. Fred, will you lead us in that? Yep. Thank you.
Just a little meditation for the new year. We visualize ourselves at the Laughlin Bullhead City International Airport, and the boarding of Flight 2022 is about to commence. Your luggage should only contain the best souvenirs of 2021. All the sad and the bad mementos should be tossed into the garbage. The duration of this flight will be for 12 months, so fasten your seatbelts, and we'll be making stops at health and love and joy and harmony and well-being and peace. We'll be refueling along the way with serving and caring and sharing. The captain offers the following menu options: a cocktail of friendship, a serving of health, a portion of prosperity, a bowl of excellent news, a cake of success, and a salad of happiness. All these will be accompanied by bursts of laughter. And unlike many American flights recently, this one will not be canceled. This one will not be delayed. May God bless the Laughlin Town Advisory Board and all of our residents in this new year. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Thank you very much. Pledge allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
That's the way to start a meeting right there.
Thank you, everyone. Please be seated. And so I'll go ahead and commence with roll call. Kathleen Haas.
Here.
Present.
Fred's here.
Fred Doughton. Present. Pamela Walker.
Present.
Present. And Kathy Oakes, chairs present. We have 4 members present today. We do have a quorum. I'll now move forward to public comment. This is a period devoted to comments by the general public about items on today's agenda. No discussion, action, or vote may be taken on this agenda item. You'll be afforded the opportunity to speak on public hearing items at the time they are presented. If you wish to speak to the board about items within its jurisdiction, but not appearing on today's agenda, you must wait until the comments by general public, period, listed at the end of today's agenda. Comments will be limited to 3 minutes. Please step up to our speaker's podium. Clearly state your name and address and spell your name for the record. These meetings are recorded and it does help our secretary. If any member of the board wishes to extend the length of the presentation, this will be done by the chairperson or the board by a majority vote. So the first item we have before us today is approval of the minutes of our December 14th, 2021
So moved.
meeting. I have a motion
Second.
and 2 seconds. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Approval of today's agenda for January 11th, 2022, to hold, combine, or delete any items. Do I have a motion to carry forward today's agenda as written?
So moved.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. We'll move forward now to our informational items. The first item we have today is to receive a report from South County Liaison, Mark Moskowitz, regarding events and activities in our community.
Thank you, Chair. Happy New Year to everyone. First, on the screen, if we'll put up, sorry for the technical. So I just wanted to share with the community, this is Commissioner Naff's really push to continue to provide services to the Township of Laughlin. We've got flyers in the back, but just to highlight the opportunities here, we've got business license and Nevada Legal Services are here the first Wednesday of every month from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. in this building. It's a great resource to be able to meet face-to-face with somebody. But these services also, you can call our office and we can coordinate to connect with people. We also have outside this building is the self-service kiosk, which is done with the clerk and recorder's office, and that's just wonderful that a live person is behind the screen, and you can do anything from recording documents to paying for documents to researching documents to just asking questions. So that's a great resource that saves a trip from instead of having to drive all the way up to Las Vegas. And then our office as well has just our normal office hours, and we're always here to help. So just want to give people some updates. We'll continue to blast out this flyer to let everyone know of our services because they're great services for the area. So thank you.
Okay, all right, thank you. And then we'll move forward to receive a report from Lieutenant Rogers, and I see Sergeant Briscoe, Metropolitan Police regarding activity and statistics during the past month and other area crime concerns. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Yes, Lieutenant Rogers here from Las Vegas Metro Police. Just wanted to thank everybody for our Shop with a Cop. It was very successful. We were able to serve breakfast to all the kids at the VFW branch. Then we bussed everybody over to the Target in Bullhead. So we had a great experience, a lot of help from the community. Kathy, thank you for coming and helping. So it was great. Make sure you're following us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and we'll look at maybe adding something more the kids look at after that. So just for stats for the new year, this is just going over this is going over December. For the month of December, we wrote 211 tickets here within the Laughlin area. That included 3 arrests for DUI and 5 for battery domestic violence. We did a total of 23 bookings here at the Laughlin Detention Center, Tucker Holding. We also had New Year's Eve this year, which was a good event. Nothing really major to report that night. And then we also overstaffed the next day on Saturday, just as a precaution. But yes, nothing new to report on that. Everything went very well for us. And then our next community event we're looking to do is going to be Coffee with a Cop. We don't have a date yet, but it'll be at the community center where we just open that up to anybody that wants to come by, have a cup of coffee with us, hang out, ask any questions they feel comfortable with. And so just follow our social media to get the exact date for that.
It'll be sometime here in January?
It'll be
or
within the next
February?
month. It might be the beginning of February. We're just trying to coordinate a date for that. So that's kind of our projection for our next community event.
Okay.
So any questions?
Any questions from the board?
Fred, good? Okay.
Thank you,
All
Lieutenant.
right, thanks for your time.
Okay, and receive a report from Clark County Fire Department regarding calls for service during the past month and other fire prevention issues. Ah, there we go.
Hello, Dennis Williamson, Captain Clark County Fire Department. Last month, seems that we were pretty status with our calls from November. We ran 119 calls over at Station 76, and they ran 97 at Station 85. Station 85 is completely static. They ran the exact same calls from November. However, Station 76 ran 6% less calls, which leads me to believe that COVID is getting better. And because our rescue runs most of our lower level medical calls, and they were the unit that had less calls. So kudos to all of you for doing what you're supposed to do. Again, like Lieutenant Rogers said, New Year's Eve was pretty much a typical day. We had nothing we couldn't handle. Everything was hunky dory, and we went on. Anything you guys like to ask?
Any questions from the board? Yep. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
And we will not have, Will Smith is not with us today from Clark County Water Reclamation. Is there material at the back of the room or no? From Water Rec? Okay, there is for Big Ben, but not Water Rec, okay? So then we'll move forward, and Jason Bailey is not, so no water issues today. With Big Bend Water District, if you do want some information regarding the report for this month, it is at the back of the room. So you can pick that up as well. Okay, receive a report from Mike Jackson, Executive Director of Southern Nevada Transit Coalition. And we have your report here. I believe that's at the back of the room as well. Okay.
Hi, Mike Jackson, Executive Director, Southern Nevada Transit Coalition. Got a bunch more great news. Ridership we'll start with. We have a slow, steady climb in our ridership. We're up to 17,000 for December on fixed route. Paratransit's been kind of up and down. Normally when it's cold out or hot out, that ridership tends to kind of stay down a bit. Fall and spring up. But understand the paratransit is a complementary service that's required when you have fixed route service. And so fixed route is always the area where you want people to ride. The more riders you can get on fixed route, the more cost effective it is. That's why we run 40-foot buses on the road. 17,000 may look like a good number, but it really isn't. In our time here, we've had over 40,000 rides in 1 month. So, and it all is really dependent on how the economy is doing, how the hotels are doing, and how many people are going to work. So, but as you see, October 14, November 16, December 17. So we got a good climb going on. We've been doing a lot in regards to the recovery and trying to brainstorm and come up with different ideas. I think one of the best things that we're doing right now is partnering with the community. Getting with the casinos, giving them passes to give to their new hires or even employees that are struggling getting to work. We're in challenging times. We need to do what we can as partners with everybody in the community to help. And if we can help get these people to work, we're going to do it. So we've hit up every casino, every big employer in this town, and supplied them with free bus passes to give out to their new hires. Kind of adds a little incentive. We're also teaming up a lot with the Chamber of Commerce on a lot of different things. And one of the newest things that we're doing, you might have seen it in the newspaper, is free advertisement to all chamber members. You know, there are a lot of people riding the bus. And when they're riding the buses, they read all the information that's inside the bus. So to be able to put an advertisement up there that can help our community, help the businesses within the community, let's do it. One of the things that comes to my mind in doing that and partnering with the community like I'm doing, it does help ridership. The more people that talk about Silver Rider, the better. So as it's being talked about, hey, the Silver Rider's doing this, Silver Rider's doing that, Silver Rider's doing this, the ridership continues to climb. You should ride the Silver Rider bus, you know, all these different things. So we're going to keep moving forward on these different things. One thing that I wanted to bring up to speed was our new buses that we've been working on. It's been quite challenging through these times. We received new buses about 6 months ago. They were delivered with some missing parts because, as you know, there's a parts shortage issue. And as you heard, a lot of the big manufacturers have thousands of vehicles parked in parking lots waiting for parts. Well, it's no different with buses. We went ahead and accepted them with the missing parts so we can go ahead and move forward on getting them ready for service. When they're delivered white. They're delivered with no fare boxes. They're delivered with a lot of things that we have to do internally to get them ready for service, not to mention the missing parts. We are now finishing up the first one. We changed up the paint scheme. I didn't put a picture in this because I want it to be a surprise. It looks really good. We're buffing it out right now, which is quite a task when it's a 40-foot bus. Yeah. In the paint scheme, we added a reflective metallic to add safety. So when it's out there on the road and the headlights shine on it, that it reflects, because for some reason, people don't see that big bus in their way. So we're going to add a little safety to our paint job. We're going to do a ribbon cutting in partnership with the chamber and the county and RTC and NDOT. Everyone will be there, and it's going to be on February 10th. You all will be invited. I'll be sending invites out here soon. I was getting some final details lined out in regards to this February 10th ribbon cutting. February 10th will be the ribbon cutting for the new bus going into service. Along with that, there will be free rides for the entire day for both systems, not just ours, but across the river too. So we're going to celebrate this together. And the reason why we're going to celebrate it together is we're going to go finally kick off the partnership between Silver Rider and Bullhead Area Transit and allowing riders to utilize their day passes and 24-hour passes for both services.
Good.
So it's finally happening, and we're going to kick it off with the free ride day, the ribbon cutting. It's just a perfect opportunity to kick it in gear. We'll be putting out a press release on this. We'll be putting out a lot of information on how it works, so that way the riders will know. And I think it's going to be a great thing. And, you know, there's a lot of other plans that we have that I will be sure to make sure I'm coming to the quarterly meetings so I can keep you guys updated, because there's a lot of things we got going on. Only things that I list are things that I have concrete. I'm still working on a lot of other. So as you see, it speaks of this in my report about the free ride day, about the 24-hour passes. Some other good news. I started pre-production meetings on 2 more 40-foot buses. We're not even done with these 3, and I'm already starting on 2 more. That will replace all of our 2007 hybrid electric buses that we currently have that are over 900,000 miles. So they're doing good. We've maintained them well, but it's time. RTC said I have to let go. I need to get new buses because I have a hard time with letting go with the old buses. But it's time to go, and you will see when we do the ribbon cutting, or if you're unable to make it, you guys are always welcome to come over to the facility and take a look, give you a tour. But the new buses have a lot of bells and whistles, and the two new ones, which are hybrid electric as well, have more bells and whistles. With a little additional grant money, I was able to get these spec to where they will go full electric for 10 miles. Now, that doesn't seem like much, but in our route's about 17 miles. What these vehicles will do, these 40-foot buses, when they get up into the residential area, they will be programmed by GPS to go full electric. They will go full electric through the residential corridor. And then once they get out of the residential corridor, they will go back to the hybrid electric. The Cummins diesel engine will kick back in, and it will continue in the route, and that should be sufficient to charge it back up, along with the layover that it has at site, to do the same thing at every route. What this not only does is it saves a ton of fuel. In fact, I did some rough calculations. It'll actually save per bus about $130,000 a year, just in that 10 miles electric.
Plus quiet.
It's only cost me $20,000 for this new technology, so the payoff is in 1 year. But the noise pollution as well. You know, I've always heard that a lot of people in the residential area, they kind of set their alarms by the sound of our buses because they hear them going by. It's not as bad now, but when we had the older buses, it was quite loud. That is pretty exciting news, and we're expecting delivery in June for those. So as soon as we get those, hopefully they come with all their parts, and we'll get them. We got our new paint scheme figured out. That was kind of challenging. The paint scheme is no longer straight lines. It's curved. And I learned that doing curved lines on a paint job is not an easy task. And note that we do all this in-house. So nothing's contracted out. We do it all. So it should go easier on these. Some of the other things is, hiring has been a challenge for all of us. We're operating with a shortage of manpower. I have maintenance out driving the routes because we don't have enough drivers. There's been a few times where I've came close to having to be out there myself. So if anyone knows of anyone that needs a job, send them our way, because we can definitely use the help. If there's people in Vegas that you may see that needs the help, we have a site in Boulder City. We have sites in Mesquite. We'll take anyone we can get. We do prefer to have a CDL, but if the ability is there, and I can only hire so many non-CDLs at a time, we do have the funding to send these people through CDL training to get their CDL license. So I have got that approved through NDOT to be able to fund it. So we've already been successful with 2 people through that program. They have to get through probationary period before I decide to invest. And then along with that, I can only hire so many non-CDLs at a time to get through this process. So keep that in mind. But if you know anyone, send them our way. Any questions?
If you don't mind, just one thing, there's 2. I was also going to say, if you've partnered with the casinos and the chamber for bus passes too, we have Father Charlie and then the Laughlin Community Church. They might have an idea, people that could use it that are part of their parish.
Absolutely.
He's here with us today,
Yes,
so
yes.
that might be another connection to make. And then just one of my concerns, because we've been, when I first moved here, I've used you for decades. So one of my concerns is, how greatly do you think our ridership, because I'm used to it always being about 30,000.
Yes.
So how dire does that put us for funding for you?
Because of the COVID situation that we're in, it's understood. I mean, everybody in transportation across the nation is suffering the same
Okay.
thing. And with the shortage of workforce, that's where your riders are. So if everyone's not back to work, They're not riding the bus. So until the economy gets better and we're through this time that we're in, all we can do is do the best we can. But ridership does affect funding.
Right.
That there's certain formula money that is given to the different states according to how much ridership. So we're looking at that. We're making sure that our numbers are correct. Some of the other sites are doing a little bit better. We've made some changes. We've doubled our ridership in Mesquite by adding another route. And I'm looking at some other enhancements that we can do here in Laughlin that may increase our ridership as well.
And standing in the gap right now, is there funding from COVID and COVID relief and stuff that's helping us through, or not in this scenario?
Yes, it really did. But they handled it a little bit differently. MPOs, RTCs and MPO, they receive the funding straight from FTA. We're a subrecipient. We receive our funding through NDOT. NDOT receives it from FTA. So FTA awarded a certain amount of COVID money to NDOT for all the subrecipients. What they did is they funded our transportation last year at 100% with no match required, which is amazing. With what the RTC, who is our match provider, with what they were going through with their sales tax revenues, with the casinos shutting down and all of that, to relieve them of that burden of matching our federal funds helped them out a great deal. So that was huge. It was very huge. It wasn't like they had COVID money. You can spend your disinfectant here. Our disinfectant had to go into our normal grant, but it was funded at 100%.
Okay. All right. Just keep us apprised of that too.
Yes.
Because per capita, our ridership has been
Yes.
very large.
With the available funds that have been awarded to transportation for the next 4 years, we're looking pretty good.
Okay.
So
All right.
no alarms.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Any questions from the board? No. Nope. Okay. Thank you, Mike. And our next item was to receive a report from Parks and Recreation from Alon Bilbray. She's not here today. Okay. And receive a report from Haley Mayo, University of Nevada Cooperative Extension, and she's not with us today. But we do have receive a report from Jackie Whalen, Laughlin Chamber of Commerce, regarding current and upcoming business activities in Laughlin, and then she will switch hats and give us a report from the Laughlin Tourism Commission regarding current and upcoming events and activities for Laughlin.
Hello. I will try and talk closer to the mic. I do not want to take this off because I've just got out of a COVID phase, so I don't want to make any mistakes. Jackie Wallin, Wallin, CEO, President of the Laughlin Chamber of Commerce. I want to tell you it's been quite challenging with the water flows recently because of the launch ramp got completed, but the bridge is having issues with higher water flows when they're trying to get in there. So a way to refocus the water, I don't know what that's called, their barrier.
Rechannel,
Yeah,
maybe? Yeah.
thank you.
Redirect,
So we haven't been able to bring it up much more past a unit during the weekdays, but on the weekends and at night, of course, on weekdays, we're able to take it up higher during the night for irrigation downstream. But it's going to be probably until the 24th of January before we can bring it back up to full flows and expectation of irrigation downstream. Networking mixers, okay. The Laughlin Chamber of Commerce events that are coming up would be the Connie Davis 5K Walk and Roll. It'll be the first one in the last, we haven't had one for 2 years, let's put it that way. We're already started receiving donations from some of the resorts who have done pre-event fundraising for the Cancer Connection, which is a general ledger account under the River Fund, Inc. I sit on that board, so I get to watch where the money's spent when it gets there. Chef's Food Fest has been scheduled again, yay. Our most anticipated event of the year will be in June 2022. the resort is trying to single out a date that's good for them because we're at their mercy. Remember, Chef's Food Fest is always on a Thursday because you cannot get chefs out of a resort on Friday or Saturday. Freedom of Expression will come back in July, and that's the event where we raise money for art programs in schools only. So we have a Freedom of Expression art event, and all the money goes to making sure that our children in our schools have a way to express themselves. The Volunteers in Partnership are still working really hard and heavy. There are still lots of opportunities. We have gained a lot of new volunteers recently, and younger ones also that are interested in serving their community without having to have a full-time schedule for it. In the Volunteers in Partnership program, you can pick what events you want to volunteer at, work them around your work schedule, your workout schedule, your doctor's appointments, and your holidays and vacations. So a lot of people are interested in IFP, which means they can be an airport ambassador and greet everyone that comes in from out of town and say goodbye with a come back soon when they leave our area. That's probably one of our most popular programs. Best in the Desert comes in February. Cancer Walk comes in March. Kane Brown comes in March. Our first fishing tournament, approximately 200 vessels, 400 anglers, about $250,000 in prize purse. The first prize is $25,000 plus a $40,000 bass boat. They will come for 8 days. They will start on Friday. They will practice Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, and they'll start competition on Wednesday, Thursday, with the final weigh-off on Friday night. So we'll have them all week. What a fun group that is. They really are fun. Yeah. They really bring a whole new dynamic to our area, and we'll be having that every year. If Mead waters don't increase, that U.S. Open at Mead that's been there for 35, 40 years may have to move down here for a couple of years if we're looking at water increasing up there. So that means we may have a fishing tournament in March and one in October for the next couple of years until we get some of that water back in. I'm confident.
Yep,
Okay.
that'd be good.
Then, of course, we have Pitbull in May, too. Membership's at 306. We're slowly climbing still. Laughlin's at 29%. One new member this quarter, but it's only the second week of January, and no new members for Laughlin at this time. We do have been making announcements all week about testing at the library and immunizations at Laughlin Community Health Center. Laughlin Community Health Center has walk-in Wednesdays, so you can go there and get an immunization anytime you want for flu, COVID-19, and a booster. And that's it for Chamber. Now, Laughlin Tourism Commission, I sit as the Executive Director of the Laughlin Tourism Commission, who brings you townwide events that increase tourism. Best in the Desert will be here in February this year. It'll be the UTV Legends, which is UTVs, side-by-sides, and motorcycles. That's a full week in the 17th through the 20th of February. The townwide concerts that LTC is sponsoring, this isn't all that's happening, is Kane Brown and Pitbull, one in March and one in May. The Western Outdoor News, Laughlin Open at Lake Mojave, Catherine. Practice 18th to the 22nd, March 23 through the 25th. The destination marketing started today. We put the billboards back up in LA, Las Vegas, and Phoenix metropolitan areas that encourage people to come to Laughlin. Laughlin welcomes you. Laughlin is open and welcomes you safely, and those are going out with all outdoor adventures and exploration ideas for people to let them know that they can come here and play outside during the day and go to bed at night and see entertainment inside. There's so much to do here. Membership remains the same. The only ones that aren't on right now are the Laughlin River Lodge. And that's it for my report. Do you have any questions?
Just out of curiosity, you also had the NCOT travel, so that is the billboards and stuff.
Yes.
That's what that one was.
Yeah,
Okay.
Travel Nevada paid for that marketing grant.
Okay.
Both times, in 2020 and right now for it was December 2020, and now for this month. It has to be done by the end of June.
Great. Okay.
What was I just going to tell you? Oh, our general membership meeting is the end of January. So all the new ballots have gone out to our members, and those are expected back by the 20th. We'll have the open membership meeting on the 20th at the mall in our regular suite that we have there. And then when all those are compiled, we'll announce who the new board members are, if there are any new, and then we'll do elections for executive board the next Thursday. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions? Okay. I forget that part. We were due to receive a report from Tanya Brown-Worth with the Laughlin Library. She's not with us today. And receive a report from the Laughlin School System regarding the status of programs and upcoming activities. I don't believe we have anyone. I can't turn the page here. Announcements of upcoming neighborhood meetings and county or community meetings and events. Is there any discussion from the board or the public? No. Okay, we've covered those. Oh, please.
Jackie Wallen, I am now up here as a membership coordinator for the Laughlin Rotary Club. So not only are we looking for new members, because we have a big challenge ahead of us, but we're halfway through obtaining donations for the new scoreboard for Laughlin High School. They've got a beautiful new track, and they got a beautiful new sports field, and no working
Scoreboard.
beautiful scoreboard like everybody else around here. They go across the river and see this beautiful state-of-the-art stuff, and then they come over and play here, and the kids kind of shy away a little bit. So we have raised about half of the 30-something thousand that we need. But this weekend is Slabarama. So you get to go over to Rotary Park in Bullhead City. Friday night is the kids competition where the kids compete against each other for cooking ribs. And then Saturday, all day, is the Slabarama. And that's a Kansas City sanctioned rib contest. And you go there, and if you make donations to different nonprofit organizations, then you get to watch how much money is being raised for our community. Ours is just for the scoreboard. If you donate, you get your own bib and all that stuff to go with it. So that's our attempt at raising more money for the scoreboard. Anytime anybody wants to drop off a donation, I'll take it.
Okay, Jackie, also, if that is something, I'll go ahead and join the Rotary as well.
Oh,
So if
thank
you
you.
can get me that information, and then, after the meeting.
We're very small, but we're very mighty, and we concentrate on really important issues and trying not to spend too much time on the little, because most of the people on this board or in this group are executives. So, and we do a lot of Zooming so that we don't have to be too close to each other. But when we do meet, we meet at the Chamber building. Okay?
Any other questions? No? Okay. Planning and zoning items, we have none. General business, we have none. So now I'll open up to comments by the general public. This is a period devoted to comments by the general public about matters relevant to the board's jurisdiction. No vote may be taken on a matter that's not listed on the posted agenda, and comments are limited to 3 minutes. Again, please step up to the speaker's podium, state your name and address for the record, and please spell your name for our secretary. If any member of the board wishes to extend the length of a presentation, this is done by the chairperson or the board by majority vote. If there's anyone who would like to speak in public comment, please come up to the podium, state your name and address for the record.
My name is Fred Wells. I've been a resident of Laughlin here going on 22 years. And I think everybody knows of the guy that started a petition about streets in Laughlin. A year ago, in June, there was a gentleman here from the Public Works. His name was Bill. He said they were going to start on our streets in October. Well, in November, I seen the truck came around and they went ahead and they were measuring the streets. But my curiosity is, when are they going to start ripping up our streets? But they said they were gonna replace all of the streets in Laughlin. That was from the Public Works that was here in this office. Any comment on that?
Just the one comment I will say is our last meeting that we had in December, he did give us another update and all of that. I believe, Tammy, is there record of that at the back of the room? In the minutes? Okay. At the back of the room is an update on that. He also gave us a site where we could log in online and get like immediate, really bad breaks in the road fixed immediately. And we've had input from several members of the community, like they put in a call on Monday and Tuesday people were out there. So that site has been working very well, but he did give us another update, and I believe Jackie may have a copy of the minutes for you with some.
Madam Chair.
I
on
see
the
that there's a
minutes.
copy of the minutes out there in the back. I think I have a copy of it. I've had-
Correct. And if you do, he did give an update, and there also is the online portal that you can input that stuff. And that, from what we've been getting feedback from the residents in Laughlin, has been working like in 24, 48 hours. So please take that and stuff and follow up with that.
It's called Fix It.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I just drew a blank. It's a month later, and I can't remember that far back often.
And one other note, with the road work, Public Works will notify any residents well in advance of when road work would happen. That's like a standard of quality, so that won't be like you drive out your driveway the first day and you can't go anywhere. So they're required to give notice.
Yeah, because you can't park on the roads on your, residential street during that time frame.
Yep.
Your vehicles have to go on the driveway or in the garage.
Yep, yeah.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure of that, Now, the second thing I wanted to talk about is I talked to the water department in Big Bend. I got a bill on my water, and it showed $10.03 extra. It was a service charge. And I talked to a bunch of residents in my neighborhood, and everybody got the same bill. And when I talked to Big Bend, they told me it was because of maybe the water was getting a little bit longer to heat up from my shower. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, how could that happen? It might be a gas bill that would go up, but not the water. If this is a Christmas present, I want to put them on my Christmas list.
Okay, I don't have an answer to that. I'm a resident of Laughlin too. I didn't necessarily pay attention to that recently, but it's something we could follow up with the Big Bend
Yeah,
and
'cause
see
my
if there
house
has
was
been
vacant
something.
for a week in December, and I can't understand. I don't even have 2 people in my house anymore. It's only down to 1 and my dogs. And they don't drink that kind of water. I give them other water.
Okay,
But I just want to know what's going on. If I'll put them on my Christmas list next year.
all right, thank you.
All right, thank you. Any other questions about the streets?
No, Fred, thank you.
All right, thank you. God bless you. Stay
Thank
safe.
you. Is there anyone else that would like to make public comment? Yes, this is anything that, within the jurisdiction of the board. Yeah. That's okay, welcome. Just state your name and spell your name for the record, please.
My name is Ralph Perez, R-A-L-P-H-P-E-R-E-Z. I live in Laughlin Estates. As you can tell, I don't want to give up my address because of obvious reasons. I just got a few things. Laughlin has almost doubled in size since I first moved out here. When they built the whole complex up at the top of the hill, our residency has been a lot more. But we're still having the same issues. When I came out here, I started working with the constable's office as a civil enforcement officer. And we used to have code enforcement, and we used to have, animal control. Well, we don't have any of those here. And it's become an issue because we have animals out here, and people sometimes we go do a well check and, somebody passes away, they have animals. We have to sit and wait for them to come all the way from Vegas to here. I mean, with the amount of people that we have here, I think we should look into getting animal control. Same thing with code enforcement. When I was at the constable's office, I volunteered for both those jobs, and I asked them, and they were thinking about it, but then for some reason, I don't know what happened, they decided they didn't want to spend the time and the money to train and to give us a vehicle so that I could do the job. But the other day, there's a dog in our house, sitting out in the park, freezing in the rain, because we couldn't catch it. And animal regulations wouldn't come down from Vegas. Metro called and they wouldn't do it. So it's something that we need to look into. I think we're pretty good in size now. I think it's something that we should have out here. We do have a lot of elderly people here with animals, and sometimes things happen. They get put out, they get evicted or whatever, and they have these animals and they have nowhere to go, and, we have to sit here and wait for them to come. You got to remember, you also have to have an officer there waiting until an animal gets here, or, you know what I'm saying? So that's a lot of wasted manpower that doesn't necessarily need to happen. When we can have somebody here in town on a part-time basis that can handle the job, maybe combine both animal regulation and code enforcement. We also have a lot of code enforcement issues, and the only time they come out here, they have to, put together a big bunch, and then they come out here for a day, and then they don't come back to follow up or anything. And I'm the president for Monte del Sol, and we got a lot of these issues that I'm looking in. I work here, so I see a lot of this stuff here too, through the courts. But just want to bring that up. We got to figure out a way to maybe combine those two and have a unit out here, So,
Okay. I understand. Thank you for bringing that up. That's something I haven't, dealt with in a while. One of the things, now I'm just going back to my law enforcement career, we had interagency agreements with maybe animal control in Bullhead to service.
well,
and
we
if
had that before. We had-
Correct, yeah, I remember, and we did have Xena for many, many years here. One of the things, we want to work together afterwards on it too. I do have, a 7,000 square foot pet facility. It didn't open because of COVID, but it still is a full-on pet facility. So if there's, a need to keep an animal, that may be a possibility as well.
Sure, yeah, we can look at that. And I can speak with Ralph after this and bring him up to date. I know with just the basic things, I have a great relationship with code enforcement, and they do great things with the Fix It Clark County. If you're having any issues, you can bring it to my office, and we can look into it if there's a problem with that. Code, just because if everyone knows there's staffing issues, we can't have code driving around every single road looking for stuff. They're really on by letting people know where they are. So that's a big thing. As in regards to agreements with other jurisdictions, we are looking into those. As you know, there's staffing issues, so putting a strain on maybe Bullhead City if they only have 2 animal enforcement officers, that's really not fair, and they really can't hold help. So talking with the chair might be another option. So there's definitely things out there, but you have my number and everything. If there's issues with code, we want to make sure they're being taken care of. And you mentioned the one with the animal that they didn't send anyone down. Let me know more about that, and we can look into that, because they are required to come down. So I want to know.
We were able to take care of it.
Okay.
I went on the Laughlin buzz, and there were some sweet people that came down the next morning, but that dog spent all night in that rain and cold in that park. I watched them on the video. I was heartbroken because we couldn't catch it ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, just to keep in mind, when I gave my suggestion,
Sure. No.
okay, it was a part-time thing. Somebody on call out here that handled both code enforcement and animal regulations, and they're here.
Yeah.
Sometimes, that drive, 2.5-hour drive from over there to here is not convenient. Especially when, code enforcement, who cares? I mean, if the apartment's bad, it's gonna stay there bad for the next couple of months. But if you have an animal that's starving or is on the loose, or in somebody's apartment because they passed away, that concerns me a lot more than.
And having resources like you in the community, I mean, you can definitely help us with letting us know of those things going on, and we're not afraid to call those agencies and have them take care of it. So we can all work in a part, and I appreciate you bringing it all
No
up.
problem.
So.
All right,
Yes.
thank you very much. I got your number, Mark.
Thank
Got
you.
it.
Thank you. Okay. Any other comments from the board? Nope. Okay. Harm, please.
I want to apologize for my late arrival. My tire decided to pick up a nail somewhere between where I live and here.
Oh, dear.
So,
I'm sorry.
We were changing tires.
That's so enjoyable. Yeah, I've done it in like 120-degree heat. That's awesome. Sorry about that. Well, we'll go ahead, and our next meeting date right now is tentatively scheduled for February 8th of 2022. However, we have been made aware there will be a second meeting this month as it pertains to zoning or planning? Zoning and planning. Okay, so we have an agenda item coming forward with that. So if there's no other comment, I'll go ahead and entertain a motion for adjournment.
So move.
I have a motion
Second.
and a couple of seconds. All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries. We are adjourned. Thank you.